Shout out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisman. Shout out to the listeners. Welcome. UFC 321 early teas. We're going to break it down from a betting perspective, top to bottom. And we're going to make some money early in the week. Right? Did I make money last week? I did, but I'm disappointed. So let's go into it quickly, and then I'll get straight to this card. So last week, I said I was a little bit underwhelmed with my month. Ever since the newborn has come, I've been a little bit average with my betting, probably not sleeping for 2 weeks. So I grinded. We ended up $3,000 up. I don't know what that is in units, 600 units, like more than 5 units. From the regionals, had a big $3 bet on Fury that cashed for $1,000. Had a sweep on the KSW slate, and that was 1,100 that I gave out on Twitter. And then I put a bunch of money on the Babley under 1.5 rounds on PFL for another $800. So I was like, man, we're killing it now. We just make sure we don't lose it all on UFC. I don't need to have a lot of bets. I like to profit preserve. And somehow, I just poked a couple of bets here or there. Ended up like $400 down. Not much. And then my first bet comes, and it's Frivola. It's Frivola under 2.5 rounds. $600. And I felt a little bit, sus about it, just because Carl Nelson, loves to go to decision. And I felt like, you know what? This is going to be a Carl Nelson round 1 KO. So I'll put another $70 to win 300, and obviously I had 300 and something on the under 2.5. So if that wins, I'm in profit by $200. I have no more bets rest of the card. I'll probably call it a day, and I make it 3,200. And obviously we all know what happened, right? I was celebrating when Carl Nelson knocked him out. He's pounding him out. I thought I was done. At first I was angry that he wasn't throwing anything until the last second, and he basically lands one strike, drops for all. Then I was angry that he couldn't land the ground and pound shot. Then I was angry at Dan Mogliata not calling the fight 10 seconds early as Frivola was getting his head bounced off the canvas. So yeah, quite annoying. And then just after that, it just snowballed. I live bet Vera. I bet the Kevin Holland fight ends in round 1 or 2. Could have easily quit from the night shot. Just almost ended up losing my entire profit, the 3,000, which could upset me, but I ended it on a Brandon Allen live bet, so I ended up making like $800. Didn't lose it all, but yeah, basically I'm locked in. I was on the under in the Alvarez with Luque last week, and I was on the Frivola this week. So that's I'm thankful that I can still profit despite some of the craziest shithousery that happens. And it always happens in October. So we're up 1,800 for October, and I think 17,000 something. I can still have a good week this week, so I'm locked in. This is generally, for the first-time listeners, minimum tape, but I've taped a lot of these fights, so I'm locked in. I'm ready to make some bank. So one more week to smash this month. I ain't giving up, but I'm going to focus more on the UFC because there's not many regionals this week. All right. A lot of comments. Didn't expect this. I know it's probably very late in America. Igloo Farts. Shout out Daddy Steve. Shout out Igloo Farts. It's going to have to be Sheik Steve for this week. 6 Sound. What's up, Big Sheik? What's up? Elites. Shout out Big Steve. Sorry for the beat on Frivola. Thought for sure. Yeah, it is what it is. Where is your cafe? Look, it takes a while to put on. I might put it on for the Final Bets podcast. Richard V. I like Delgado. I think Wood is too undersized. Look, we'll get to that. Frivola is fucking horrible. Look, I didn't understand why everyone was playing the Frivola money line. It just made no sense to me. I think he has the worst chin in the division. It was going well until I let myself get involved in the whole fuckery. Yeah, Jono, you should know better, my friend. You should know better. Alrighty, let's get to it. So, the first fight. First fight. We have Jacqueline Amorim and Mizuki Inoue. Wow. Inoue's still fighting? That's crazy. The last thing I remember from her is beating Hannah Goldie and getting knocked out. Losing to Lemos as a massive favorite. Yeah, that's right. Oh, not massive favorite. Minus $1.35. Lemos back then was great. Just an underdog to everyone. Split decision to Yahoo Yu. Look, honestly, she has a split decision loss to Verna Jandiroba as well in Invicta. So this could be an interesting fight if it gets extended and Jacqueline Amorim is not submitting her in the first round. Jacqueline Amorim, submitting Poliana Viana, Vanessa Demopoulos, Corey McKenna. Some of these are okay. She could have almost finished Sam Hughes in the first round too. An interesting fight. Don't really feel like parlaying her. Let's see what the under 1.5 is. Typical with Amorim. Wow. The under 2.5 rounds is plus money. I thought for sure this would be 1.5 rounds. She's only gone over 2.5 against Sam Hughes and Montserrat Ruiz. Okay. The thing is, I don't think Inoue is going to sniff a finish. So that's interesting. That's grabbing my attention. All right, Azat Maksum versus Mitch Raposo. Interesting fight. I rate Azat. I think the guy's quite good. He lost to Charles Johnson and Tagia. Both fights was competitive. He almost knocked out old mate Charles. I think the fact that he had a close fight with Tyson Nam in his debut is kind of making people think he's not the greatest. But Tyson Nam was a ranked flyweight before they cut him from the UFC, right? He's just low volume. So I think this is a huge step down for Mitch Raposo. Obviously, he's a big favorite. Maybe I'll parlay him. I don't know. I also think Mitch Raposo is better than people give him credit for. There's something about him. I know some of the lads played him against Lima and against Sumodaji, but there's something about him that just I can't trust him, even as a big underdog. And he just doesn't seem to have that it factor to actually come through as an underdog, unless he's finishing you. The Andre Lima fight was not a split. I thought he lost 2 rounds clear. I don't mind maybe Azamat inside the distance, all these unders. So the under is plus 170 for under 2.5 rounds, right? Azat Maksum was literally killing everyone and submitting everyone in the regionals before he came to the UFC, and he almost knocked out Charles Johnson. So yeah, maybe I jump in on the under there. Just remember, lads, this is in Abu Dhabi, so all these Muzi fighters, they're going to have some favoritism for sure. All right, the chat is popping off. Appreciate it, lads. Let's not go cold on the chat. Aussie Fight Fan, Big Daddy Steve, congrats, mate. Thank you, mate. 6 Hound, fuck Raposo, little weasel, yeah. Tell me you didn't bet him against Muraji without telling me. 6 Hound. Yes, mother and baby are doing well. It was all complication-free. Honestly, can't complain. Have a really well-behaved baby too. He might look like me though, so that's unfortunate for him. Alrighty. The Super Bowl. Chris Barnett versus Hamdi Abdelwahab. Yeah, it makes sense that Hamdi's a favorite. He's actually 32. He's got some sort of athleticism and wrestling background and finishing power. But I don't really want to talk too much about this fight. Chris Barnett, he keeps losing via injury. Martin Budai popped the rib, hurt his knee against Kennedy Nchukwu. But then he's got some meme factors, right? He can come back. He can land a spinning wheel kick. He finished Jake Collier. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk too much about this fight. If you parlay Handy, just don't talk to me. Just delete Twitter. If you're in the Discord, eject yourself. Yeah. Under 1.5 rounds, I'm considering that. But honestly, I might look at the alternate under 2.5 rounds. I know Chris Barnett almost made it to a decision against Budai, but that's more of saying something about Martin Budai just being the worst finisher in the world. Finished by Ben Rothwell, that was a max whale bet on short notice. Finished John Villante, Martin Budai. This guy doesn't go to decision, so the under, I'm considering the under, but Hamdi used to knock out guys on the regionals. But Jamal Pogues, Usman, he's not really going to knock these dudes out. Yeah, I'm liking some unders, man. Maybe it ends around 1-2, or it just doesn't go to decision, but we'll see. I have to put myself through taping these fights, so. 6 Hound. Hammy is horrible. 3 minutes of cardio and 0 volume. Well, if that's the case, then we'll go under 1.5. Jono, classic heavyweight gas fest. If these guys don't finish early, is it over with 1 takedown? That cardio is what we expect. I don't know. Chris Barnett was taken a bunch of times and he wasn't finished straight away. Alrighty. Jose Delgado and Nathaniel Wood. All right, so I love Delgado, man. I love Delgado. I think the only time this year when I had 4 units on someone was Jose Delgado, start of the year. And, after that bet in, I think it was February, that was what turned my first 2 months. That's the only 2 months I lost, January and February when I got married. There's other things on my mind. And, having 4 units on him against Conor Matthews and then having the under in the main event, I think it was Rodriguez Robocop versus old mate Jared Cannonier. That was the only 2 bets I made to kind of get a winning card and rebound. So I have a soft spot for Jose Delgado. And when I taped him on LFA, I was like, wow, this guy's so offensively great, very fluid. Defensively, he fights like a Mexican. He can be taken down. He can be cracked. He's a bit scrappy. But yeah, just offensively, so good, man. And, just ran through Haida Emil. I kind of regret that one. I was looking too much at his flaws. And, yeah, just knocked out a very durable guy in the first round, blitzed him. A lot of his fights on the regionals were short notice, too. He's now taking it seriously. He's having proper camps in the UFC. Still young. But I was going to lock him in at minus money, but ultimately I pumped the brakes because I've been fading Nathaniel Wood for a while now, and mainly because, he's chinny. He's 32. He's not a prospect anymore, and he's small. He's not really a big featherweight, right? He's moved up from bantamweight, and you can see in a lot of his fights he looks tiny. But he's just, I keep fading him because I'm like, he's going to get knocked out by these power hitters, and he just keeps shutting him down. So I bet Charles Jourdain in France, I think it was. Awful. He looked awful. Charles Jourdain never looked worse. Right, 30-27. Andre Fili, that was probably one of my best bets. People were saying, don't bet that. It's in London. It's in London. It was like plus 150, plus 160. Man, if you told me Andre Fili was going to drop Nathaniel Wood 3 times, I would make that bet a max bet. And he still loses the decision because he got dropped himself, right? Andre Fili, very chinny. I didn't play anything against Naimov. Pineda, I had some KO props. Couldn't finish Pineda and lost round 3. And then I played Morgan Charrier. When a lot of money came in on Wood as an underdog, I waited. I didn't wait long enough. I was still reverse your lead. Awful bet. So I'm playing all these physical, powerful guys to knock out Nathaniel Wood, and he's just shutting him down because he's a very cerebral, technical fighter. So here again, Jose Delgado, he hasn't really beaten anyone good, Ernie Juarez is bad. Conor Matthews, awful, been cut. Haida Emil is his best win, but he blitzed him. He does have insane finishing upside, but he has a loss to Chris Mercante, and Mercante dropped him, took him down. Just kind of gave him the tour of the octagon. And Nathaniel Wood can give him the tour of the octagon because he is the better, smarter fighter. So I pumped the brakes, and Jose Delgado is quite chalky here as well. So I'm just evaluating. I don't want to make a bad decision and get reverse your lead. Maybe some money comes on Wood later in the week. But I did tape it. I taped it, and the one thing that's sticking out is the under. The under 2.5 rounds are plus money in the Jose Delgado fight when all 3 of his wins were under 1.5 rounds. His last 4 under 1.5 rounds. That's sticking out to me. But then I look at the bigger picture, and Nathaniel Wood is the guy that couldn't finish Daniel Pineda, and couldn't finish anyone really. Couldn't finish Chinny Andre Fili. But then again, he hit Morgan Charrier with 1 hook, who's incredibly durable. And I reckon if it was anyone with any less durability than Morgan Charrier, probably would have put him out cold there. So it's an interesting fight. There's a lot of value. I think I like the under 2.5 as potential value. I like Jose Delgado. Maybe I just play Jose Delgado finish props because I don't think he really wins a decision against Nathaniel Wood, but who knows? I think I might just have to play Delgado because it's one of those ones, the regression. I've been fading this guy with power hitters. None of them can do it, and I think finally maybe Jose Delgado can do it, but that's where I'm at. All right. Jono, the Wood fade will be glorious. I think I might just have to jump on it because I can't miss out on it. Jake Berlin, what's up, Big Steve? What's up, Jake? Thanks for listening. Your name is not familiar. Hamdi's grappling control time should be enough to pick up the win over Barnett. Look, Samit, lovely name you got there. If Hamdi can't beat Chris Barnett is like the bottom of the UFC. 6 round Wood is really good, but at physicality disadvantage, which makes it tricky. I don't even think he's at a physicality disadvantage because you see he's ragdolling some of these guys. Like he's controlling Philly on the ground. He just took down and threw around Charles Jourdain with ease. And Pineda's quite a big physical guy himself. And he was taking down Morgan Charrier as well. So Wood is good, but Delgado got a significant height and reach advantage. Tough night. Look, Andre Fili had a significant reach and height as well. So I mean, the only issue is like how much value am I getting at this chalky line on Delgado? They're basically pricing him at 60%. Is he going to be more than 60? I mean, he could get another round 1 KO. By the way, Connor Matthews took him down, took his back for a second. He's not hard to take down, Jose Delgado. So if Nathaniel Wood comes out there with his Patterson trip and mixes in the jiu-jitsu, could extend. All right, Walter Walker, Louis Sutherland. I mean, Walter Walker, decent-sized favorite. Makes sense. I don't think Sutherland is that good at all. Let's have a look at the price. Yeah, it's ugly. The under, I think, I can't really see it on fight odds, but I'm pretty sure the under, it was set at 1.5 rounds, and the under was plus money. I think plus 140. Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't really make sense because, Walker just finished the last 3 guys in round 1. And Louis Sutherland, every single time he's lost was to a grappler. A grappler, Casper in Levels Fight League, and then by Abraham Babley in PFL. And there's another grappler, I can't remember now. Let me just have a quick look because it's going to bother me. But he's never been finished. But Slim Trabelsi, that's right. But has he ever encountered a heel hook spammer like Walter Walker? So, yeah. And Walter Walker's insanely durable, so I don't really see Louis knocking him out. So I'll probably play maybe Walter Walker round 1 instead of going with that under 1.5. Unless it's a similar price, then yeah, as an experienced bettor, you always go for the under just in case. You never know in MMA. Probably accurate, Walter Goat. Steve, man, the negative variance has been wild. Look, I hate the cappers that talk about negative variance. Like it's the sole reason that their shit bets are losing, right? But yeah, the things I said tell myself is, doesn't matter what you say. Like I'm not gonna lose all my profit. I'm not gonna have many bets on the UFC. Just gonna have the locks, like the under 2.5 and the Carl Nelson round 1. I reckon the results are already set in stone. So I was meant to lose, 2K on the UFC, even though I had no bets. And the higher powers just made it happen. Even when my bet was about to hit, they're just like, nah, it's not going to be round 1 KO. So that makes me not upset. You can't control the MMA gods. So, yes. Looking forward to November, December, because generally great months. And, yeah, I mean, you can't get any worse variance than this. Let's be honest. Basically, fights ending via KO in front of the whole world inside the octagon. And they just do the unthinkable. And they say, don't worry, keep fighting. They're even getting Mark Ratner on the TV saying, yeah, that ended. That was a mistake. And they can't stop the fight and say, wait a minute, that's a round 1 KO. Just call it. They just keep the fight going. It's crazy. It's crazy. Alrighty, let's move on. Saladi versus Matheus Camilo. This is an interesting fight. I already see people playing both sides, which is a typical pick'em fight when it comes to Kappa Twitter wars. Saladi basically extremely chinny grinder, and Matheus Camilo just a kid with power and good, submission ground game. But he's just flakes, man. He's 24. He flakes. He's got submission losses to Eric Macedo, who's awful in Fury FC. Some random Derek Borges guy, and just recently Gabe Green in his UFC debut. He was doing well in that one and went for a triangle, a very tight triangle. And as soon as he didn't get it, Gabe Green took his back and submitted him in. And honestly, in my opinion, as a jiu-jitsu guy, he was tapping early. He was tapping early to that. He was over his chin. He also let him go under the chin, which is a clear sign that you're quitting. You don't like the pain on your chin. Sink it under my neck. But he was tapping before it even sunk under the neck. So. And then who's Gabe Green submitted? Literally no one. He doesn't have one submission in the UFC. I know he was a purple belt when he entered the UFC. I don't know what he is now. It's 5 years, so he's probably a black belt. But man, he doesn't submit anyone, dude. He just doesn't submit anyone. So yeah, it's who's going to give first? The chinny guy or the flaky guy that just gives up and gets submitted? Saladi has like 2 rear naked chokes in 15 wins. He's mostly a ground and pound guy. And Camilo hits like a truck. So weird fight, man. Weird fight. I actually did tape a little bit of it because I felt in my gut that I might have an edge. But I don't know. Let me look at the under. I'm hoping the under is good. 2.5 rounds of pick'em. That might have to be a play. I honestly think Even if Saladi is not the best finisher, I think he's, based on wiki capping, his finishing is a bit underrated. Right, he landed a big overhand right on Loic Razabanov end of round 1. He almost got him out of there. And it's just, if he just keeps going for takedowns and rinse and repeating, like, that could be enough to make Camilo flake. But I need to tape some more fights. You know, I've seen Saladi hurt by this Michael Murphy guy, who's just an awful Fury FC regional vet. Or was it Nick Compton? He's been knocked out a bunch and he's been hurt a lot. So that gives you some Mateus Camilo finishing upside too. Yeah, that's interesting. Might have to go for the under there. Speaking of unders, wow, Mateus Rebecki, Ludovic Klein. Someone tell me, man, what Mateus Rebecki is doing. I don't think this guy. I'm pretty confident in saying Mateus Rebecki doesn't have a manager, any management behind him. I think he's just winging it. Like, this guy, every single fight he's in, it's a war. All right, so his last 3 fights, he had a couple of good wins. You know, Nick Fiore, Razabanov, Roswell Roberts, whatever. And then he goes against Diego Ferreira, gets the crap beaten out of him. Both his eyes are shut. Insane amount of damage. 5 months and a bit later, he looked like he had 2 broken orbital bones. He's fighting against Maidabek Oralbai. Again, eyes shut, bleeding, cuts, brutal war. And just insane war. He wins, right? It looked like he was going to get swamped in round 3, and then he almost knocked out Oralbai, which is impressive in its own, because I think Oralbai has one of the better chins in the entire UFC. And then he takes a whole year before fighting Chris Duncan. That's probably the smartest thing he's ever done. And then just insane war against Chris Duncan. Big cut. It looked like his eyes shut again. Honestly, that doctor should have stopped that fight. And it looks to me like a broken orbital bone. When an eye shuts like that, it's usually a broken orbital bone. And that's August. And he's fighting against Ludovic Klein in October. September, October. 3 months. Beginning of August. So 3 months later. You can't tell me this guy has a manager. This guy might already have CT. I reckon Mateus Rebecki has more scar tissue than pre-surgery Vanderlei Silva and Nick Diaz put together. Bro, he gets a crazy cut and swollen eyes in every single fight he's in. So, insane. So, yeah, basically, he's not to be trusted, old mate, but he's actually an underdog here. So, it's honestly Rebecki who passed for me. Ludovic Klein, I think, can be broken. He's got a nice stick and move game, as we saw against Gamrot. As soon as he's on his back, doesn't really have much to offer. You know, I've seen him hurt a bunch. You know, I've seen him hurt by an up kick versus Jai Herbert. Thiago Moises fight, not aging well. AJ Cunningham, not aging well. Ignacio Bahamondes is aging well, but it's just like, you know, Bahamondes is chinny and he just wrestled him. He won't be able to wrestle Mateus Rebecki here. So I think these guys are going to crash in the middle of the octagon. Mateus Rebecki is going to fight the same way he's fought in every single fight. He can't fight any differently. And I think that might break Ludovic Klein unless he eats a head kick. He had a big head kick from Chris Duncan. He basically ate everything that Duncan threw at him. Like, he has 0 defense. So that's not the smartest thing against Ludovic Klein. But if he keeps doing that and keeps coming forward, I think he's going to break Ludovic Klein. Now, this under, it's just crazy that these guys have the last 2 Rebecki fights had decisions. And then he has a decision against Nick Fiore. And then also Ludovic Klein has a decision against Thiago Moises, Roosevelt Roberts of all people. Ignacio Bahamondes, like Jai Herbert, Devontae Smith. He couldn't finish Devontae Smith. I remember I had a big money line play there. He was an underdog. But Devontae Smith is as chinny as it gets, and he took him to a decision. And then, you know, got finished by Nate Langwear. So, yeah, this under, I feel like this under should be minus 200, but then they just keep going to decision. Like, Oralbai fight should have been stopped in round 3. Any other judge would stop that. Chris Duncan, as I said, the doctor should have stopped that fight. You know, like, his eye was completely closed. Diego Ferreira almost didn't get stopped. There was 9 seconds to go. He took an ungodly amount of damage. So, yeah, just these fights are weird, man. Like, Ludovic Klein dropped Thiago Moises like 3-4 times, and he survived. So, yeah, weird fight. Let me see what the under is again. I think it's plus money. Let me just have a look. A lot of money is coming in Rebecki. I'm feeling like I might have to lock it in. Yeah, so the under 2.5 rounds is plus money. So I would honestly just play the doesn't go. It's probably going to be slight minus chalk, but that's fine. I feel like it could very well go to the last few seconds of round 3. So, yeah, Rebecki, and I like the under, both plus money. So, take a couple of these fights. So, I kind of have a read. Alrighty. Jono, Rebecki is a moron who just can't follow a logical game plan. I mean, Rebecki is, an idiot, absolute idiot. Sumit, the line is screaming Camilo is live. I mean, the line is pick'em, so what about it is screaming? Klein's bottom game versus Reed. Klein's bottom game versus Rebecki, shot selection and cardio. Klein's kryptonite is going up against the name Matus. Well, it could be. Honestly, man, I think Rebecki can break him. Ludwig Klein hates pressure. Right? He hates pressure. You look at he beat Mason Jones, who was pressuring him, and he was kind of shutting him down, sticking and moving, but maybe. It's a weird fight. Weird fight. Alrighty. Ikram Aliskerov, Jin Yong Park. Honestly, this fight I might have to take first because this is I don't understand this line. Why is Ikram such a big favorite? I honestly think that both these guys are on the same level. I think maybe from the 15 to 20 mark, top 15, top 20, maybe both could squeak into the ranking. Like, we have more data on Park. He's been in the UFC for what? 15 fights now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 actually. And if you're not UFC level, he's going to finish you. Even if you are UFC level, he'll be beat Fon, beat Marc-Andre Barriol, lost to Anthony Hernandez, but he was beating his ass, lost to Gregory Hernandez, but he almost knocked him out. And Eric Anders, Joseph Holmes, Derive, split decision to Andre Muniz, split decision to Tavares, but he's beating these guys and he rinsed Ismail Nodiev. So there's nothing that Ikram has showed me to tell me that he's better other than knocking out Andre Muniz. So yeah, sure, you can say they both fought Muniz, one lost the split, one knocked him out, but it's just styles make fights. If Jung Yong Park wasn't so small, if he had a little bit more power, then he would knock out Andre Muniz too. But also, Ikram Aliskerov got ran through by Robert Whittaker. It washed Robert Whittaker. And you could argue Robert Whittaker and Jung Yong Park would have a competitive fight, in my honest opinion. I think Jung Yong Park would keep pressuring him, and Whittaker would stick a move, throw a head kick, jab 1-2, and he would honestly hate the jab and the pressure of Jung Yong Park. So, interesting fight. I don't understand the $1.40 on Ikram. I think if Ikram has chin issues, like he's been deaded twice by both Chimaev and Whittaker, no one else has really tested that chin from the tape I've seen. I've taped this guy many times. Then Jung Yong Park could beat him. He could very well beat him. So I don't understand this line, man. They're pricing Ikram like he's a future contender. Maybe he is, but he's gassy. So I don't see this as too much of a different fight than Nodiev. Athletic, Dagestani kind of guy that's throwing kicks, got some power, will go for takedowns, and Park just broke him. So dogger pass, man. Dogger pass. Although this is in Abu Dhabi, so 6 round Ikram minus 250 because it's in the Middle East. Yeah, of course. Tavares split, not aging well. I mean, Tavares is not a bad fighter, man. How do you think Tavares will go against Ikram Aliskerov? Probably, if he doesn't finish him, probably some close 29, 28 as well. It's just, styles make fight. Alrighty. Nasrat Haqparast versus Quinlan Salkilld. Good fight. Nice little step up for Quinlan. I think he's a good Australian prospect, but he's not as amazing as people are glazing him to be. I see some people saying he's going to be the future. He's a future title challenger and all this crap. It reminds me of the rubbish hype that you had. The Korean guy that just got knocked out by Santos. Like, take it easy. Like, chill out a bit. He is well rounded, and he has great cardio, which is something that's kind of non-negotiable in the UFC. And he's only 25, so. But yeah, man, he hasn't really beaten anyone good. Best win is Janula Shmuz. He was getting hit there, gassed badly. Could Nasrat knock him out in that situation? Maybe, man. He needs to shore up that striking defense. So what's the line on this? Well, Salkilld He's an underdog. That's interesting. You know the Kappas are going to be rushing to play the future title challenger as an underdog. But yeah, very competitive fight. I guess Nasrat should have some advantage in Abu Dhabi, being a German Afghani Muslim. Yeah, interesting fight. I like it. Very high level. Quinlan does separate wrestling, and I don't think it's going to be easy to separate against Nasrat. That's right. Nasrat just beat Jared Gordon, aging well. Esteban Ribery's aging great. Yeah, good fight, man. Good fight. Alrighty. Alexander Rakic, Azamat Murzakanov. Take this one a little bit because all the lads are on Rakic. Look, I'm Serbian, and I don't think it's that clear cut from the couple of fights I taped. Obviously, I know Alexander well. Everyone wants to fade Azamat. Like this, the hate on this guy is so crazy. But basically, Rakic, yes, he's much bigger, much more athletic, physical. Is he going to wrestle? Maybe he should. But Azamat's not that easy to hold down. Not that easy to hold down. I guess the best guy to try to do it was Devin Clark. He hurt Devin Clark. Devin Clark hurt him with a head kick. Dustin Jacoby, he just kept dropping Jacoby round 1 and 2, lost round 3. Yeah, I don't know. I basically don't trust my boy Rakic to really cover this line. He's a slight dog. Pick him. Yeah, he's going to be at a speed disadvantage, and he also has no striking defense, Rakic, at all. Like, pick any random fight, and you'll see him almost get hurt and knocked out by Devin Clark of all people. Watch him eat a big overhand right against Anthony Smith. Watch him just eat constant leg kicks and overhand rights from Jan Blachowicz. And, same as Jiri until eventually he can eat him. He's got an iron chin until eventually one caught him. But yeah, just no. I don't know if he's gonna fight like with a sticker move leg kick game plan. Azamat's gonna feint and just look to close the distance. And I don't think Rakic's chin is gonna be able to move out of the way in time because he's a slower fighter. I don't know. I taped a couple of fights. I'm like light heavyweight seems competitive. Pick him. Not interested, so I just moved on. I'm looking for locks. I'm looking for 2K profit, and I'm not going to force, a pick 'em light heavyweight fight unless I have a good read. So we'll move on. Sumit, if both grappling gets offset and fight stays standing, who got the better striking? I know you're talking about the Iron Turtle fight. I basically think, as 6 Hour said, Iron Turtle will come forward. He has a very nice jab, and it's quite annoying to deal with, and it has underrated power. But he's hittable. He's very hittable, so he'll probably, as he pressures, he's happy to walk into things, so he'll probably eat some Ikram counters. It might be a great live bet. But the thing is, Park is already a decent-sized underdog. Who knows? 6 Hound, Rakic fought like a total pussy last time, played his decision. That was so frustrating. Look, Rakic, honestly, 29-28 against Ankalaev. I thought he just couldn't win that fight with the way he fights because Ankalaev hits harder, is sharper, and he had the wrestling. But the fact that he won one round on all judges' scorecards, that kind of surprised me because it's so slim margins. But yeah, if Rakic loses, does he get cut? Look, I hope not, man. We literally have no good Serbian fighters. Rakic is good. He's good. Lona, Rakic will lose, honestly. Anything's possible. It's a pick and fight. Alrighty. Alexander Volkov versus Jalton Almeida. Sick fight. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is a title eliminator. Right. The winner should get the next one. I kind of hope it's Jalton Almeida. We've seen Volkov get rinsed by Tom Aspinall. We've seen him get rinsed by Cyril Gane the first time. He kind of has a ceiling. Whereas Jalton Almeida, he got knocked out by Curtis Blades, but he was rinsing him. There was that was one of those Twitter fights, pick 'em fight. Everyone, half the people on Curtis, half them on Almeida. I didn't want to get involved because I'm like, I can't get a read. But then last minute I went on Jalton and I'm like, wow, what a great bet. This guy is just ragdolling Curtis Blades. Who would have thought? And then he gets knocked out. So it's like, this is why I don't get involved in these pick 'em fights where there probably is no edge. But yeah, I hope it's Jalton Almeida. I want to see some fresh blood. I want to see how Tom handles someone like Jalton. And it would be good to have a different belt defense on his record rather than Volkov, who he already beat. But yeah, this is interesting. Minus 200 for Jalton. I get it. Right? If you look at Alexander Volkov's record, taken down and rinsed by Tom in round 1. Made him look like a white belt, right? Lost to Curtis, who wrestled him like a billion times over 25 minutes. So it makes sense, right? They think Jalton's going to take him down and make him look like a white belt again, but I don't think it's that simple, man. Like, he's 6'7". He's huge. He hits like a truck, Volkov. His grappling does seem improved. Like, he stuffed Romanov's takedowns, whatever. But Jalton is different. He's going to get on those legs. He's going to shoot low, and he's going to double leg him, double leg him. But if he gets up, and I think Jalton might be chinning. If he lands anything, like a short punch whilst against the cage while stuffing a takedown or a jab or anything, I think he might just delete Jalton Almeida. It's a very volatile fight, very interesting fight, which is why I'm liking the under 1.5 rounds at plus money. Isn't that crazy? Plus money in a Jalton Almeida fight where he just fought Spivak and he knocked him out on the feet, which probably doesn't mean anything because Spivak just loves getting knocked out. But yeah, he looked good. That combination he threw on Spivak, hands are fast. But I think if he stands and tries that on Volkov, he's just going to get deleted, man. Like, Volkov's going to go over the top his jabs with a straight right and just kill him. You can't play those games with Volkov. Where is that fight? Well, and more money is still coming on Jalton. That's crazy. If you like Jalton, just play the under. Like, how do you envision him winning this fight out of 1.5 rounds? He's going to get a takedown. He's going to sit on Volkov. If he doesn't finish him, maybe Volkov gets up. Fight's going to start round 2 again, and we might see another Curtis Blades repeat. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Under 1.5 rounds. Maybe fight ends round 1 and round 2. When did he end Sergey Spivak? End of round 1. Curtis Blades early round 2. Shamil went to round over 1.5 rounds. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ends round 1, round 2. It's probably going to be Pick'em. I've been loving these plays recently. I played it against Pfeiffer versus Abus because I thought he might gas and make it to the end of round 2. It's just a little bit extra safety net. And if the price is good on the under 1.5, then it's usually not too bad on ends round 1 and 2. Yeah, that's it. Volkov KO, under 1.5 rounds. Yeah, you play the usual Jalton Almeida 1 round takedown props. Feed families. Alrighty. Ooh, what the fuck did I just do? Comments. You have the goat Dushko. Yeah, Dushko is the goat. Also, Medic. Medic is catching a body when he fights Muslim Salkilld. Lona. Volkov is big. Thank you, mate. Thank you for that elite capping. Jalton versus Aspinall is the script. Yeah, probably. Getting taken down by Gane is just such a bad look. Yeah. I need to rewatch that fight. I haven't seen it since live. Lona. Who did you pick in Ikram versus Park? I mean, it's Park or nothing, man. I am playing $1.40 on Ikram. Jalton plays with his food. Can cook the under. Does he play with his food? Don't know about that. I mean, he does fall for the trap of sometimes going for subs when he should just ground and pound. But yeah. I mean, it's a plus money play, and honestly, I'm kind of relying on Volkov a lot to cash that play. All right, Nurmagomedov, Mario Bautista. I don't want to talk too much about it. Like, the line on Batista is insane. I get it. Umar is the GOAT. And if he was so good, he wouldn't have lost to that Weasel Murab. So, yeah, dog a pass. Mario Bautista, $5. People are still parlaying Umar. I think that's a bit wild. He's got some fights where, he's kind of like, shouldn't be that close against a short notice Damon Blackshear. Shouldn't have gone to a split with Jose Aldo, but it's just styles make fights. And he's got better cardio than Umar. So, yeah, it's a dog a pass. Dog a pass. I think Mario could do it. He could surprise. I think he's still improving fight to fight. Umar doesn't really have any great wins. Kakramanov back in PFL is one of his better wins. And then Nate Manez, Brian Kelleher, washed Hani Barcelos. Begsart, good win, but got dropped. Corey Sandhagen, best win. Like, whatever. Corey Sandhagen loves losing these kind of fights. He just let Murab set a record on him with takedowns. Like, Corey Sandhagen will never fix that hole in his game. So, yeah, dog a pass. Probably goes over. Let's move on. Werner Jandiroba, Mackenzie Dern. This is probably the hottest fight in UFC history. And most of that is thanks to Werner. Mackenzie Dern does a little bit, but yeah. Rematch, everyone's on Dern. She was an underdog, now she's a favorite. I taped it. Honestly, I don't like it. This is just two jiu-jitsu spastics, winging overhand rights, no striking. Basically how the first fight went. Mackenzie just got out in there and started winging like a crazy woman and just landed a couple times on Werner. Round 2, Dern got her nose broken with a knee from Werner. Just ducked into it. Again, Werner didn't mean that. And then she pulled guard, couldn't do anything. And then round 3, again, landed something on Werner, just going rabies. And then Werner pulled guard. And it's like, man, it's a 5-rounder. Both these girls are going to pull guard. They still have no striking, either of them. I get why you would play Dern because, she's improved. The first time they fought, this is pre-traps. Dern has started lifting weights now for the first time and her traps magically developed. So this is that Mackenzie Dern. So she's improved, but also Werner's looking better than ever. I honestly feel I don't want to get involved in this fight on Mackenzie now that she's minus money. She's still pulling guard. Look at her fight with Amanda Hibas, who's washed, completely washed. First of all, never that good, but completely washed. She's not going to hit an omoplata sweep on Hibas like she did on Hibas, on Werner. She's also not going to armbar Werner Jandiroba. Like she hasn't, in her whole UFC career, she's got one submission over Amanda Hibas, and then Nina Nunes, and Hannah Cyphers and Ronda Marcos. And she's had so much top time on, Ashley Yoda, Marina Rodriguez. She had like 10 minutes of top time against her. Tisha Pennington, Zhang Yuan, like Angela Hill. She's not the great at submitting girls. She's not going to submit Werner. So if she pulls guard against Werner, I think Werner's the better wrestler, and she's the better position over submission type grappler. So, but I'm not interested in this fight. I'm going to lie bet it. There's going to be a lot of reversals. It's going to be messy. It's a 5-rounder as well. Just 5 round of spastic jiu-jitsu. Good luck. Good luck to anyone playing Dern. I know some friends that are big on her. Makes sense. Lona, Uma finishes a plus, maybe. Yeah, I thought about that. I thought if Uma's going to cover this price, it's probably going to be a rear-naked choke at some point. Uma just has to make a decision. He'll get the rub. I mean, probably. Bautista seems to have a chin problem. He looks way hurt from strikes. He should. When did you see Bautista hurt? He was hurt. He was knocked out by Corey Sandhagen, but I don't really recall Bautista getting hurt by anyone else. Yeah, Patchy Mix kind of wobbled him around 3 a bit, but Dern seems like the better striker. Yeah, that's the narrative. Werner is super gassy. Yeah. 5 rounds, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just not that black and white, in my opinion. Like, a lot of the times, the gassier fighter wins the 5-rounder. I remember Jose Aldo was a massive underdog against Jose Font. Rob Font, pardon me. And I just smashed it. Had so many units, and Aldo didn't even get tired because he didn't exert any energy over 5 rounds. Just kept dropping Rob Font. Anyway, shit fight. All right, Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. I love this fight. Before all the fighters started losing and Gane was still in the UFC, I thought these guys were the 4 horsemen. Pavlovich, Aspinall, Cyril Gane, and then Gane. Heavyweights, huge heavyweights, athletic heavyweights with 6-packs. And I was like, wow, these 4, who's going to be the next champion? And they're all in their prime. So I know Cyril Gane is his stock has dropped off a lot in that fake fight versus Jones, and then obviously just getting a robbery versus Volkov. But he's still like one of the most athletic guys in the UFC. He was fighting in Muay Thai for 3 years before deciding to move over to MMA, and he's just like skyrocketed to a title shot. So this guy's insanely athletic. We'll see. I think this is a good title defense for Tom. I don't know. I guess Tom can take him down and expose his ground game again, but I think Cyril's improving. And will Tom do that, or will he just strike with him for a bit? I think this is one guy that can match Tom's speed. And obviously Cyril Gane has insane distance management and defense. He avoids the danger quite a bit. But at the same time, Aspinall's the fastest guy Cyril Gane's ever fought. And Aspinall's just been running through everyone. Doesn't matter how good you are. I can't believe how fast this dude is for heavyweight. It's crazy. So there's a few things that interest me here. I want to see, will this be the first time Aspinall gets extended against Gane, who usually avoids the fight? Over, under 1.5 rounds. It's a pick him. That makes sense. It's basically, will Tom get him out of there or not early? The bookies can't decide, and I can't either. So interesting fight. I'm looking forward to this one. Maybe Tom submission when props open up. A cheeky way to look at it. But I like it. I think this is a good fight. I think we'll see an actual in-prime heavyweight with speed and athleticism in Cyril Gane, and we'll see how Tom will handle it. Up until this point, the best guy Tom has beat was Pavlovich, who's just, slow as all hell, bad footwork, bad defense. We saw, Waldo Acosta landing on him. And then before that, it's, Alexander Volkov, who's always been slow, and he just took him down and made him look like a white belt. So, and Curtis Blades, Curtis Blades is an okay win, but Curtis Blades gets knocked out by everyone. So that's where we're at. Interesting. But interesting card. I like the card. I'm locked in. There's a few things that stuck out. I'll go over the comments and we'll get out of here. Almost an hour. I didn't expect that. Trevor Jones slumped him. That's right. I forgot about that. I think that was just a weird result. Trevor Jones does hit hard. Hey, chin Timo. Yeah, Timo's chinny though. His ground game is the only thing that prevents me from picking him. Who are we talking about? Yeah. Alrighty. Basically, take some fights, not others, but Amorim, we'll look into this one. Raposo, Maksum. I think Maksum could potentially finish him. Hamdi, what a fight. Delgado is one that stuck out and I taped. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm considering him and I'm considering the under 2.5 rounds. Walker, if that under 1.5 rounds is accurate, I might just poke Walker by sub, see what happens. Saladi, Camilo, I like this under 2.5 at Pick'em. Rebecki, Klein, I like that under at plus money, but I'll probably play doesn't go the distance. Aliskerov, Park or pass. Salkilld, Nazarite, good fight. Rakic, Murzakanov, good fight. Just not touching it. Almeida versus Volkov, I think someone dies. Under 1.5 is grabbing my attention. Bautista, Umar, double pass. Werner, Dern, not interested. And Gane, Aspinall, not interested at the moment. So that's it. Nice little early tease. As I said, not many regionals. Not as many as last week. But we'll focus on the UFC. 2K is the goal. 2K is the goal. There's more data on the UFC. I can live bet it. There's more totals. You can play the handicaps. So we'll see. All right. Peace out. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. And till